non-interest banking and economic development. Seated with us in the studio right now for this discussion is the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Jaiz Bank PLC, Hassan Usman. Hassan Usman, pleasure to have you with us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, Kieran.
First of all, let's, what do we understand, or what should we understand, because you're a professional, by non-interest banking? Because ordinarily, many would believe that banks survive based on interest. And now we're talking about non-interest banking. Can we get further explanation on what that means?
Well, in Nigeria, non-interest bank refers to Islamic finance, Islamic banking, because it is in Islamic banking that you transact banking transaction without interest. Rather, what you do, you trade with your partners, you lease to them, or you share profit and loss together.
How does that work out? I mean, Kieran just asked, the received wisdom ordinarily tells you that, well, first of all, banks hunt for deposits, and it is the deposit that they now take out to customers who come for access, and the spread that they get on it is from the interest is what keeps the bank going. So how do you survive as an institution?
Well, in the conventional banks, as they are so called, you take deposit as a loan, and so you pay interest on it. In a non-interest or Islamic bank, what you do is you take deposit as an equity. So your depositors are your partners in business. So what you do is, when you take this deposit, you deploy them into various transactions with customers who require financing. So rather than say lending in conventional bank, we say we finance transactions. So this financing can come in the form of a sale. So somebody wants a car, we buy the car, we sell to him on credit with a markup. So the profit that we add is what comes to the institution that will be used to share with the depositors, and then the remaining will be used to pay for overheads. And if there is still remnants, it will be paid to shareholders as dividend. The other customer comes, he needs a house. So we buy the house. Perhaps he provides some equity also into the house, 20%, 30%, and we provide 70%. We buy the house, so we lease the house to him. He pays rent, and then at the same time start to gradually buy the bank out. And then eventually he owns the house altogether.
But this is very interesting. I've heard about this before, but not in details, as you are trying to explain. Now, who is eligible, to bank with you? And when you talk about equity, what do you expect from such persons, assuming someone wants to open an account with Jaiz Bank for the purpose of doing business? What qualifies the person, to do business with Jaiz Bank?
All Nigerians are qualified to open an account, whether young or old, male or female, and all you need is to just open an account. We maintain the usual current account, in which case you are just using it to transact business. You are not asking the bank to invest it for you. You are not expecting any return on it. We also have a deposit account, which is on equity basis. That means you are providing equity to the bank to trade with, from which you share the profit that the bank makes.
How do your books look like?
The books or the balance sheet of a non-interest bank looks similar, except for some lines. When you come to lending, we will provide the name of the investment, so we call them investments instead of lending. When you look at the deposits, we have the normal deposit, which is current account, which is similar to that of a conventional bank. But then you have the equity type of deposit, which is We call it mudaraba, but it's really quasi-equity to the bank. It's just like a shareholder, but you do not have voting rights, and it's temporary because you can bring it for 30 days, for 90 days. You can also operate it on a savings basis. That means you put it in, you can take today, take some tomorrow, but the essence is that you want to share in the profit. So you are exposing the deposit, unlike in a conventional bank that you are giving the bank a loan. Here you are giving the bank money to trade with as a partner.
Now, let me ask this question. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic and associated disruptions, we hear that your bank is still confident of closing the year 2020 with 200 billion balance sheet. Where lies your confidence?
Well, Islamic banking worldwide is a growing phenomenon. It's been growing at the rate of about 15%. Now, in Nigeria, for the last 4 years, Jaiz Bank has been closing the balance sheet at about 50%. Last year, we were at 108. That's 2018, sorry. By the end of 2019, we're at 162 billion in balance sheet, which is about more than 50% growth. Similarly, if you look at our earnings, 2018 we had less than 9 billion in earnings. By the end of 2019, we had almost 15 billion, which is over 65-68% growth. The profitability, we closed 2018 at 900 million in profit, and by end of 2019 we closed at 2.1, which is more than 100% growth in profitability. So this is the norm for Islamic finance, because there is a large gap of need around this compliant product. It is a system that shares risk and return. That gives some level of fairness between entrepreneurs and also those who are investing. And it's growing because also there is a large number of people who are looking for it because of their ethical requirement to avoid interest, which they consider as unjust in some respect.
I was just wondering, is your faith a factor before you are accepted as either a depositor or a borrower from the bank?
Not at all. The principles is underscored by all the religions. Perhaps maybe Islamic finance becomes Islamic finance because current trend is mainly promoted by people with the calling of Islam, and perhaps maybe the Islamic faith frown too hard on it rather than the other faiths, because all the revealed books also prohibited interest in all its forms. So in terms of Jaiz or any Islamic bank, it calls all. The underlying contracts are also what humanity was using all before banking. Because what are the underlying contracts? Is I'm buying and selling, and everybody does that every day. Perhaps maybe most people buy and pay cash, but a number of people buy on credit, and that's what we do. Almost everybody leases either a car or a house, and that's what is provided.
What exactly do you finance mostly? Is it trading, development, manufacturing, construction, or what? So who are the kinds of customers that you deal with and right now, and what kind of customers would you like to also see in future?
Well, all this you have mentioned, from manufacturing to consuming finance, consumption finance, to agriculture, real estate, all sectors we finance. There are some areas that we do not finance. All products and services that can adversely affect society, we do not finance because of the ethical requirements. For example, we do not operate an account of a brewer. Even if they are not borrowing from us, they just want to deposit money with us, we will not take, because we will not open an account for them. Similarly, any company that is producing arms and ammunition, because of the side effect that could generate, we also will not do. And if your business is also going to affect seriously the environment, we also will not open an account for you.
Time is not on our side for now. Let me ask you this. In 2016, the bank's license was upgraded to a national one. Is Jaiz Bank now operating the full capacity of a national bank?
We are not yet full capacity, but we have grown our branch network from 3 when we started in 2012 to now 40 branches.
40?
And, yes, and these 40 branches have cut across most part of the geopolitical zones of Nigeria. So in terms of representation, we are almost everywhere, but we have not reached our potentials yet.
Very curiously, at the time, Kieran, on Good Morning Nigeria, we've always discussed the usurious interest rates from some of the regular banks, double-digit interest rates. Are Nigerians taking advantage of your mode of operation to beat a path to your door? That's one. And secondly, who exactly are your shareholders? Are the depositors also like your shareholders, or it's a different structure?
Okay, in terms of the customers taking advantage, yes, because, you know, interest is not just the simple interest that is the problem. It's the fact that it will compound. Mm-hmm. Because when you take a loan today, you don't know how much it will be depending on your circumstance by the time you are exiting. So if you have issues within the period of the loan, that loan will be compounding and it could double over time. So that's one of the major issues that customers have started to understand. With a sale contract, once you sell, you know, you cannot increase the price because it's a sale. Likewise, when you lease, you can only pay the rentals. You cannot get a compounding of the rental.
Now, yes or no, why are you here this morning? To promote Jaiz Bank?
Yes, of course. We've just finished our annual general meeting. We had a very good year, 2019, and we are very hopeful also, even with COVID, that 2020 will also be very good, God willing.
All right, Hassan Usman, CEO Jaiz Bank PLC, would like to thank you for being with us on Good Morning Nigeria today.
It's my pleasure.
Okay, we also like to appreciate our viewers who have tuned in to Good Morning Nigeria. We're back tomorrow, as usual, same time, 7 in the morning. Until then, take personal responsibility, stay safe, and be well. I'm Kingsley.